absurdism. Yes, Camus, we were thrown into this world with no explanation. It's a tough truth to accept. Problem with absurdism is that, I guess, the myth of Sisyphus, it kind of creates like a search for something that you cannot attain, and therefore it's kind of absurd. So there's like, just the whole thing is absurd. Although what's interesting about absurdism is that even though it's like a nihilistic kind of or an existential concept that sort of denies the possibility of attaining meaning, and yet it is like striving and like revolting against that. So I would say that absurdism actually holds a sort of secret optimism, because it's like secretly saying a part of you does believe that there is meaning, because otherwise you would not be revolting. So I'm on to you, Camus. And that is to say that I think that in an ideal reality, when life is like super perfect, like perfect, that kind of reality would sort of justify itself. And so people would probably not feel a need to look for meaning that is like out there, like beyond. The desire for meaning would probably diminish, not because meaning doesn't exist, but rather because it's just gonna be like inherent in life. Nihilism right now is bad because it's like depressing and stuff, and also like, I mean, it's life negating, and yeah, so not good. But I would save it for the future, you know, maybe like in some ideal future I would join the nihilists one day. I find a lot of isms are like that. A lot of utopian ideologies are like that. It's just like, if you take them and you just put them in another time frame, they actually work, but like now it doesn't work. So monotheism is an ism that people relate often to Jews because there isn't a false assumption, or it's not really an assumption, it's like, it's just like one of those common knowledge that are just wrong. And that is that Jews are monotheistic, and that's not true. Jews are actually not monotheistic because monotheism is basically trying to negate plurality, like numerically. And the Jewish conception is that God is beyond definitions, and categorizations and numbers would be included in that. So that's not exactly what Jews mean when they say God is one. Rather, the idea is that there is like a fundamental unity between all of existence. That's the idea of like the oneness of God. And in that respect, I would say monotheism is true in the sense that there is a fundamental unity between all things. Atheism. So atheists are correct in that there is no magical supernatural being in the sky. There is no supernatural being. But yeah. Atheists are also correct about most of their criticisms of religions, such as religions being opium to the masses, or religions playing into the deceptive psychological fears and complexes of human beings, and God being, like, belief in God being a sort of concept that's open to exploitation. And yeah, most of their criticisms are true, and I'm not even an atheist. Pantheism. Alright, so the idea that nature is God, basically. So that's kind of a strange idea, I would say, Mr. Spinoza. I would say nature and reality are an expression or manifestation of divinity. But yeah, I wouldn't say that nature is God, even though Spinoza had a sort of his own understanding of what that means. But nonetheless, it's kind of odd.